Hey guys, this is Coach Bricks back, RX Health and Fitness, and I'm with my man, Dr. Joe, Dr. J, baby. Good to see you, my man. Always a pleasure. Hey, so we're starting to get rounded up, ready to go. Okay, yeah. And some of the questions that I've gotten, I know you probably received too, is it's evaluation. Okay, everybody who comes through the door has to have an evaluation. So I want you to break down what our evaluation process is. You know what I mean? So they know coming in, hey, we're getting this detailed evaluation about ourselves. So can you break it down?
So the evaluation process there, Dave, and to be concise there. So it starts with what we would call a PAR-Q. If anyone, a PAR-Q, a physical activity readiness questionnaire. Okay, that entails about 35 to almost 40 questions where a person reviews their own health from their perspective. What injuries have you had? Okay, what health conditions have you had or not had? Okay, what are your goals? How short of breath are you if you are likely to walk around the block? Okay, how many falls have you not had? Medications, okay, surgeries, family history, things. They all get an idea of, okay, understand if a person is filling out that questionnaire or going through that assessment for themselves, they are already in the mindset of, I want to get moving, but this is to evaluate when and how safe to go about moving. Okay, so it starts the evaluation process with that PAR-Q. Okay, that PAR-Q is implemented or reviewed with an exercise physiologist. Okay, we actually, it's hard to know on staff here, even in RX Health and Fitness, we actually have three graduate level, okay, college degree exercise physiologists, or some who have measured in kinesiology. Okay, so you had that PAR-Q. Okay, then that is reviewed and evaluated with the physiologist. Okay, that the physician comes in soon. Then they go through the evaluation testing components. Okay, most don't understand there are, when you talk about health, fitness, readiness, there are multiple things that you look at. Okay, a baseline body assessment. Okay, not just stepping on a scale, but what composition on that scale is bone, what's water, what's muscle, what's fat mass. Okay, based off of that, okay, you also get an idea of a person's metabolic rate. Okay, that is something that can change over time as you change your body composition. So it's not just about dropping down 20 pounds, or somebody may have a goal of putting on 20 pounds. It's not the weight itself, it's the composition or the quality of what you change. Okay, a person may not see on a scale that they drop down 20 pounds, but I often say, what's your goal? Oh, I'm trying to lean back up. I'm trying to move better. I'm trying to move stronger. I'm even trying to fit in some of my clothes better. Okay, we often learned in physiology, okay, if you were to take the same amount of fat versus the same amount of muscle, okay, muscle takes up half as much space, okay, fat but weighs twice as much as fat. Okay, so when a person is shifting their body composition, or that's what's going to occur with the proper exercise prescription, it's good to know that up front. So a person will get that portion of assessment. Okay, then you look into metrics that are very important that we may or may not think about. Okay, but it wasn't until I pulled a lumbar strain in college and you work with the team physical therapist that you learn about the importance of things like even yoga and flexibility, how it has help works. And Dave was big with injury prevention. So how many know their flexibility assessment? Okay, whether it's through a sit and reach, or there's other metrics that we look at that we use here to test, hey, where a person stands male versus female for their age from a flexibility standpoint. That is part of their assessment. Muscular strength. There's muscular endurance. Okay, so there are different ways to test a person's muscular strength, okay, based on even their level of mobility. Okay, some we have different accesses here. We have a ramp, stairway. We have an elevator access. I was talking to Dave and someone a little bit earlier. Hey, you may only have one option about coming in through the elevator based on where you started, but we want you leaving out having more than that option and using that elevator as the last option because you move better. Okay, muscular strength. We have different ways where, hey, we understand everyone is not going to be able to do a basic push-up test assessment. Those are one of the ways that we can use for strength for an individual. Or if somebody's not going to be to a 1 or 3 rep maximum on a bench press or squat to be able to, because they're not there yet. Okay, but we're able to use some of the machines that we do have to still get an idea of a basic strength. Muscle endurance, okay? It's strength over longevity. How strong can you be with time, with endurance, okay? Looking at, we have our testing for our muscular endurance. Cardiorespiratory fitness, okay? We often, you hear someone say, I'm going to do cardio. I often say, do you know what you're doing when you say I'm doing cardio? Okay. Cardiovascular activity, the definition is sustaining a certain heart rate, okay, above a certain range of your maximum, okay, heart rate that we assess for at least minimum of 20 minutes to get into that cardiorespiratory zone. When you start to have a benefit and a changeover, where you start to have adaptations in the heart and the lungs based on that style of training. But before you know where you're going, you need to have an idea and an assessment of where you currently are. So we are able to do the cardiorespiratory assessment through assessing a person's VO2 max, okay? Good question. What's a VO2 max there, okay? I'm sitting here, Dave is sitting here, we're both breathing, okay? We both look like we're in pretty decent shape, or at least Dave does, okay? And the oxygen we're breathing, and the carbon dioxide we're exhaling, how much of that we're breathing in are we actually able to utilize? Okay, oxygen equates to energy once it gets into our blood and allows our metabolic system to take it and run with it. Fire off, allow us to have more of these reactions, ATP breakdown. That's another physiology principle that, guess what, come and see us, you'll learn about what that means, okay? But how many know that the poorer our cardiorespiratory fitness, or the poorer our VO2 max assessment, okay, what percentage of oxygen you're taking in and utilizing actually is related to a person's higher risk of other comorbidities and things. Higher rates, it's associated with higher rates of obesity, physical deconditioning, okay, higher rates of asthma, COPD, all these things, heart disease, okay. If you think about it, the heart works as a pump off of the lungs and oxygen in our system. If you're not utilizing very good oxygen in your body, how your pump that's further downstream is also having a harder time work. So, long story short, the VO2 max assessment that we're able to safely go ahead and do here and assess, okay, even in the terms of our treadmill or our cycle ergonometer type testing that we'll be able to do here on the bikes, we will be able to get that assessment. Again, went through the body fat initial, okay, the flexibility, muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiorespiratory fitness there. 2 things you also do not leave out, and it's not in the initial evaluation process, but is important. We are what we eat, okay? 80% of what you do and see is what you're putting in your body or what you're keeping your body away from, okay? 80% is what we do here, okay? So we do have nutrition consultation associated with it. It's not part of the assessment, but it is a part of the program if a person decides to go ahead and take advantage of. And those will be recommendations if we see that as a part of a goal for a person that is important with everything else. But one other important part that is not missed is then we also add in balance and proprioception. Okay, I understand it's not one of the main 5 pillars that we often use as physiologists to use and assess, but Dave has seen, as well as I do know, as we all get older, our coordination, our proprioception, I closed my eyes purposely. Proprioception is where's your body in relation to space and can you tell? As my eyes are closed, I know my arm is out and I can find my nose, okay, with my finger. Believe it or not, we can lose that the less and less and less and less we move, the older and older and older we get. Actually, a person could lose that proprioception. That's what allows them when they step off a curb and they weren't paying attention and looking down at the ground and they were thinking, oop, they rolled their ankle, they fell. You had 10 falls this year. I was in my kitchen, I was at home, okay? But balance and proprioception. So Dave, with our team, able to also test that as a metric in there in our evaluation that then allows, guess what? After all those components are completed, person is able to see where they stand at their current point in time for their age range. You know, these are all in age ranges where there's, you know, hey, whether you're average, above average, or below. And then all of that is put together, Dave, in a program that is evaluated and then reviewed by the physician. It's reviewed by the physician, myself, to go ahead and fortunate to have an exercise physiology background in eye, but then also know from a health medicine wellness standpoint, okay, where a person should be. They had this hip replacement, they had this knee already, they had this back surgery, they have spinal stenosis. We got to watch out for this, okay? What sets a physiologist apart from a person, nothing against a general personal trainer or somebody just going into the gym. They learn about anatomy, physiology, biomechanics, okay? Our bodies are all physical levers, you know. These things are also very important. So then I'm able, in a 2-paragraph evaluation, say such and such came in, here's their evaluation, here are their goals, here's what I would recommend after my review, and then that goes to our physiology training team to go ahead and take it and go from there.
Awesome. So you guys, you heard all the breakdown. That's what our evaluation, this isn't just some simple come in here, we do a basic thing and nothing over. This one's in detail because we want to know about you. We want to get detail because I think we need to learn a lot about the past, from injuries and things that you've had in the past. I think that's very, very important. And that's why you got to be honest with those Part Q forms. You got to be extremely honest. If you're out of shape or out of breath and things like that, you got to tell us. That will make the process much, much easier because we want to tailor these programs to the individual as much as possible. So, guys, I will put all the information on how to get in contact with us at the top. Reach out, whether it's for you, somebody in your family, or whatever. I'm telling you, we want to change how people see health in this world, okay? Not just popping a pill. We want you to take it back, and you take back your freedom of health, all right? That you have control over, not somebody else giving you, some type of drug or anything like that. You're doing it all by yourself. So, guys, all the information will be out there. But I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Dr. Joe, always a pleasure, buddy. You guys have a blessed day.